When introducing children to division, we always start with a number line first. Before we get them to do anything, we get them to write down some key facts, multiplication facts, involving the number that they're dividing by. The ones we generally tend to stick to is 1 times that number, 2 times that number, 5 times that number, 10 times that number, and for any larger numbers we could go to 20 and 50 if we really wanted to. 20 times 60, they can use their 2 times 6 knowledge and then times it by 10 to get their 120. Once we've got these key facts, it will make their life a lot easier. We draw our number line out, starting with the number we want to divide at this end, so 79. We need to look at our key facts and see which one of these will help us take a big chunk away to try and get us as close to 0 as we can. So in this instance, the best chunk to take away would be 10 times 6, so to take 60 away. We can't use 20 times 6 because that's 120 and we've only got 79, so we're going to stick with 10 times 6. So we're going to take away the 60, which was 10 times 6. So 79, take away 60. Children can either do that in their head, or if it's a number they struggle with, they can use column underneath. So 79 take away 60, leaves you with 19. Then we look back to our key facts to see what chunk we can take away that would help us. So in this instance, 5 times 6, 30. It's too much, I've only got 19, so I'm going to go for 2 times 6, which is 12. So 2 times 6, so I'm taking away 12. Again, 19 take away 12 is 7. And then can I take any more chunks of 6 away? I can take one more lot of 6 away. So 1 times 6, which is 6, which leaves us, doesn't quite get to 0, it leaves us with 1. And we need to remember him for later. The final step is to add up the chunks that we've taken away. Make sure you add up the chunks and not the number that you were dividing by. So if we add up the ones in the boxes, you've got 10, 2, which gives us 12, add your final one, so 13. And we can't forget this little one here. We can't divide that 1 by 6 anymore, so we're going to write that as remainder 1. Once children have mastered division on a number line, we move on to chunking. Chunking is literally just turning that number line from horizontal to vertical. So, again, we go back to having those key facts that we used on the number line to help us. So we want 1 times 13, 2 times 13, 5 times 13, 10 times 13. If they're stuck with the 5 times 13, work out what the 10 times 13 is and halve it to get your 5 times 13, which will make your life a lot easier. 20 times 13, which again, use your knowledge up here, which will give you 260. And then if we wanted the 50 times 13, we could put that in again using our 5 times 13 knowledge. So now we've got our key facts. Again, that will make our lives a lot easier. So we start with the number that we want to divide, so 127. What chunk can we take away that's going to get us as close to 0 as possible? 20 times 13 is 260, that's too much, we haven't got that amount to take away. And 10 times 13 is too much, so we can't use that chunk. So we're going to have to look at the 5 times 13. I'm just going to put that in brackets, which is 65. And we need to then take that number using our column that we've learnt from earlier away. So 7 take away 5 is 2. 2 take away 6 we can't do, so we need to borrow from the hundreds. 12 take away 6 is 6, it leaves us with 62. What chunk can we now take away that's going to help us? In this instance, I'm going to go for the 2. So 2 times 13, which is 26. And I now want to take these two numbers away. So 2 take away 6, can't do. Borrow from here, change this to a 5. 12 take away 6 is 6. 5 take away 2 is 3, 36. Again, look back to our key facts. What chunk can we use that will help us? I'm going to go for that 2 times 13 again, which is 26. Take that away. 6 take away 6 is 0. 3 take away 2 is 1. Now we're left with 10. Can we take another chunk of 13 away from that 10? No, we can't. So we need to remember that's going to become our remainder later on. And we need to add up our chunks again, remembering to add up the chunk and not the number that we were dividing by. So we want to add up the ones that are on the left. 5, add 2 is 7, add your 2 is 9. So 127 divided by 13 is 9, remainder 10. Another method that we use for dividing is something that we call bus stop method. Bus stop method is also known as short method, shorthand division. So in your bus shelter, you sit the number that you want to divide, so 963. And outside of the bus shelter, standing in the rain, is the number that you want to divide by. So we're going to put the 3 there. Then what we do is we take each number, each digit, and we look to see how many times does the number we're dividing by fit into that digit there. So, how many times can 3 fully fit into the number 9? We know that 3 times 3 is 9, so 3 fits into 9 3 times. How many times does 3 fit into 6? 2 times 3 is 6, so we write the 2 to represent the 2 lots of 3 above the 6. And how many times does 3 fit into 3? It only goes in once. 1 times 3 is 3, so we put the 1 on top. So 963 divided by 3 is 321. Now, sometimes when using bus stop method, the numbers won't fit as perfectly as the earlier example. So we can still use the same process, but we need to use our knowledge of borrowing and carrying that we've learned earlier on. So 218 goes into your bus shelter, 7 out in the rain goes on the outside of your bus shelter. How many times does 7 fit into 2? It doesn't work. We can't possibly divide 2 by 7 unless we go into decimals. So 7 doesn't fit into 2. So we place a 0 above the 2, but we then need to carry this 2 over, so that now we're looking at how many times does 7 go into 21. And 7, if we think of our 7 times tables, 7, 14, 21, it goes in 3 times, so above the 21 we write a 3, and then we move on to the next column. 7's into 8, only fits once, but we've got 1 left over. So 218 divided by 7 would give you 31, remainder 1.
Once children can divide with a 1-digit number, we move them on to dividing with 2-digit numbers. So exactly the same rules apply. We get the bus stop and we put the number we are dividing inside, and the number we're dividing by stands out in the rain. Now again, it's helpful for children to use their key facts here if they're not confident with their multiplication tables, which when you get up to the teen numbers they probably won't be. So again, we do 1 times 14. We'll do 2 times, going up to 5 times, and 10 times. So using these, we'll have a look over and see whether or not this number can go in. So 14 can't go into 2, so we move the 2 over. 14 into 29, well, we know 2 lots of 14 are 28. So 2 lots of 14 fit in, but there's 1 left over here, so that has to move over. How many 14s go into 16 now? Well, I know that 1 goes in, but I'll have 2 left over, so that gets carried along. And again, how many 14s into 29? Well, I already know that that's 2, with the remainder 1. So 2,969 divided by 14 is 212, remainder 1. When using bus stop with decimals, the exact same rules apply. So again, we put our number that we're dividing into the bus shelter, and our dividing number outside. So we do the exact same thing as we did last time. We think about the key facts. So let's have a look at those. So 1 7, 2 7s, 5 7s, and 10 7s. And we can use these to help us. So 7 into 2 doesn't go. So I move my 2 over, giving me 21 here. How many 7s going to 21? I haven't got it on my list, but I know 3 7s are 21. So I put my 3 there. Moving my decimal point up, making sure I keep it in the same placeholder size there. 7 into nothing doesn't go. And 7 into 7 goes once. So the answer is to 21.07 divided by 7 is 3.01.